Hello everyone, this is NelsonJM. So in this episode, we want to look at 5 reasons why students are unable to get admission into the university. Reasons can vary between the southern part of Nigeria and the northern part of Nigeria. The reason is because the universities within these locations have different specifications and different modes of admission. And if you don't follow those guidelines that are required for you to gain admission, usually you will not be able to be admitted into any of these universities or colleges. For colleges, the issue is watered down because most of the colleges will just accept anything and anytime. But for the universities, it is more difficult. And one of the reasons is because you would usually have to write JAMB. I said usually because there are some programs within the university that are also degree programs, but you don't need to sit for UTME exam or even register for the direct entry examination. And those include part-time programs with most of these universities, sandwich programs, and many others. So for UTME students, this is because you are actually the most group that likely want to be admitted immediately you are out of your secondary school. So what are those things that could hinder you from being admitted into any of these universities at the time you are expecting that your admission should be processed? Now, one of the reasons might come down to the O-level setting. Most of us, or most of the students, even from the previous years, those students would maybe not pay attention to their SSCE because as at the time you are in SS3, you are looking as if okay, everything is going simple, and then maybe you are in a location where you think there's a miracle center where you can just sit down and then the answers come and you write your examination. Then the second thing comes to the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, that is the JAMB. The JAMB UTME is an exercise that every uh, prospective university candidate is supposed to sit for that examination to be chosen to before they can be able to gain admission into the university. Now, when it comes to JAMB, first of all, you need to reach the required JAMB cutoff mark for the institution you are trying to apply for. If remember, you don't know your cutoff mark, but you know the university you want to apply for, and you have your first choice, you have your second choice, and then the third choice of an institution. So you for you to gain admission, you need at least 150 or 140 JAMB score, which is mostly uh, accepted in the northern universities. For southern universities, usually they have a higher expectation of their students, and that's why you would see a lot of southern students even having to score higher in their SSC. Having A's, B's will mean a lot for them to gain admission into the university. Then in the north, if you have 140, because usually the universities, as far as you have those a credit in English and mathematics, they usually will not care much. Then uh, after the cutoff mark, the next thing is the JAMB upload. So the first one is your SSC, the second one is the JAMB. But within the JAMB, there is the JAMB cutoff mark, then there is the uploading of the SSC result, which is supposed to uh, come in, that is after you have written your JAMB, or sometimes it can be done during the registration of the JAMB. But for those who doesn't have the result at hand, maybe you are still in SS3 and you are still waiting to write the SSCE. You are waiting, you have an awaiting result, and then you are supposed to upload it before JAMB start pushing your list to the institution you have selected. Remember, your second choice is not an option. It is usually just there because JAMB will not send your information to the second choice institution. They will only send it to the first choice. So it is just as if they are just doing it for showmanship. Then that is the uploading of result comes next after the JAMB. So as soon as you are done with JAMB, the next thing is there are other requirements that the institutions might need you to submit. For the northern universities, sometimes you need to participate in a pre-screening. That is the pre-online screening that will occur. They will charge you some fee. I think the southern universities also do that. They charge you some fee, then you upload your data one after the other into their portal. They pull up your JAMB score, and usually because your names are already there, they just need your JAMB number, and then your data are already on their system. Then they would like you to populate some other fields that are required. If you fail to do those things, then it means you are ready for failure. And after that, for the southern universities, there is what we call the post-UTME. The post-UTME is an exam that is held by institutions. Sometimes for those who did not do well in JAMB, if you write the post-UTME and you pass, they will likely accept you into the institution. And most of those southern institutions just automatically accept you if you do well in the post-UTME. So those are some of the things you need to keep in mind. So we have the SSCE, we have the JAMB, then we have post-UTME or the online screening from institution. Now, the fifth one can come, can depend based on the time you perform those activities. You know, some students live in rural areas where they don't have JAMB centers and things like that. So they need to travel to certain locations for them to be able to perform these exercises. So the time you are expected to upload those things are usually the time the schools are accepting those students early. So let's say the school open the screening portal today, and then in the next 2 months it will still be open. Now those students that are going to be uploading their details doing their screening in the next maybe after a month or so, probably will not be able to get into maybe the first list or the second admission list. So but if you beat the time, you will be able to cover or be lucky to have your name enrolled within the first list or the second list as far as your JAMB score reaches their expected cutoff mark. So let's pay attention to this so that you won't be able to make this mistake in 2026. For 2025-2026 as academic session, schools have already started rolling out admissions, and a lot of people who did their screening early or went through the post-UTME examinations have already received their admission, and they are only waiting to register with the school and be matriculated. So pay attention to this if you are a student that is coming in for the 2026 academic session, and I hope that all of us will be successful in whatever we are doing.